Hi everyone, it is time for a new video, and today I'm going to be giving you 17 recommendations of adult romances that all feature bisexual slash pansexual slash queer main characters, and I'm very excited. Obviously, we have a lot of books to talk about, so these are all romances that I love, and I'm excited to tell you about them, so let's just jump straight into it. So I have my laptop here. I am gonna go in no particular order. So the first book that I have here is quite a recent read that I really loved, which is The Close-Up by Kennedy Ryan. And this is a novella and it has the perfect summer vibes. Like honestly, now is the perfect time to read it because it's set on the Mediterranean and the two main characters go on this yacht with a group of friends where like two of their friends are having I don't remember if they're celebrating like a birthday or an engagement or whatever, but it's like a week-long vacation and they're on a boat, you know, and like all the summer vibes. It's basically a little bit of a forbidden romance because the heroine's brother is considers the hero his biggest rival because he kind of has the career that her brother could never have but thought that he deserved, but he kind of ruined it. And it was not the hero's fault at all, but obviously he blames him and has some resentment. And so the heroine obviously does not want to betray her brother, but she absolutely is falling in love, of course, and things go on from there. Again, beautiful summer vibes, very steamy, like great communication. Honestly felt very mature, like the main characters were very mature. They talked things through. And so like it's a little bit angsty in the forbidden aspect, but it's not super angsty in the sense that like there would be a lot of miscommunication, a lot of distance emotionally between them, and all of that. So I absolutely loved it. And I don't know if I said it's a novella, so it's a little bit shorter, not that short. I think it's close to 200 pages, but it is absolutely amazing and you need to pick it up. And in this one, the heroine is bisexual and it's super casual representation, and I love both of the main characters and their romance, of course, and it's incredible. So yes. The next book I have on the list, I have Physically, and I actually recently got this and I am desperately due for a reread because I read this honestly like 5 years ago maybe, but it absolutely stuck with me and I loved it so much, and I don't feel like I said the name of it. So that is The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan, and this book is absolutely iconic. So I feel like it was popular when it came out, but I have not heard anyone mention it since. And that is a crime, honestly. And so this one has a very interesting premise. So we have Naomi, who is a sex worker, and she is super confident, super cool, absolute badass. She is also bisexual. She basically teaches classes about intimacy and relationships and everything around it. And obviously nobody really wants to, no schools generally want to hire her though because of the stigma and everything, and they're like, this is too scandalous and whatever. And then there is Ethan, who is a rabbi, and his synagogue is struggling, and they are basically struggling to get like younger people interested in coming there. Basically they end up working together. Naomi starts having some classes there, and they obviously spend a lot of time together. Super fun, absolutely iconic. Honestly, if you love the show Nobody Wants This, you need to read this for sure. It has a lot of those vibes. And this one was first as well to do that. And I loved this. I felt like this was such a wonderful romance. Again, you know, quite unique, and it's steamy and fun, but it honestly has a lot of depth in it as well, and a lot of important topics and stuff. And I loved it so much, and I need to reread it ASAP. And you also need to read it if you have not done that yet. The next book that I have here is Well Actually by Maisie Eddings, and I absolutely love Maisie Eddings. I actually have 2 recommendations from her in this video, and honestly, I feel like all of her books, except for maybe the first one, have queer main characters. And so if you have not read her books, you absolutely need to. And I'm actually gonna read you the first line of my review because I feel like it says a lot of important stuff. So, imagine a woman who's never been loved properly, who worries she's too angry, too mean, too much, who finds a guy who's absolutely obsessed with every part of her and has never forgotten her during the 6 years after their breakup. He'd move mountains for her. He likes that she's blunt and speaks her mind, and he'd never want her to be anything else. So yeah, so that is like the vibe. And in terms of the plot, the heroine in this does this talk show where she basically like eats hot dogs with like, you know, celebrities. And I think this was officially inspired by the chicken shop date. And so that's kind of the vibe. She makes an angry video about the hero who she used to date like 6 years ago in college. And he now makes like videos and podcasts and whatever about dating and like advice on that and all those things. And she honestly thinks that he is not qualified to do that because he really hurt her feelings. He just did some things that she thought, you know, were not great. So then for kind of mutual benefit in terms of like the work, they end up having to do a podcast together. And so it's like working together, hate to love, in the sense that she is really angry at him and he is still absolutely obsessed with her. A lot of yearning, so much fun. I absolutely loved the fact that the heroine in this had space to be angry and to be emotional and to be all of those things. I feel like there's definitely people that read this book and think that, you know, they say that they don't like her, but I love her and I think it's iconic, and the romance is so fun and it's steamy, emotional, and I feel like Maisie Eddings writes such like realistic romances, but in the best way, where the characters are complex and wonderful and flawed, but also just, you know, you want to be friends with them and they feel really real, and the romance feels incredible as well and is just all absolutely iconic. And I'm pretty sure both of the main characters in this are queer. Like one of them is pansexual, the other is bisexual. I unfortunately don't really note these things down that precisely. I just like put it on my Goodreads shelves. And I'll just right away tell you about the other Maisie Eddings book that I have, which is Late Bloomer. And honestly, this might be my favorite Maisie Eddings book, even though it's super hard to decide. And I do have her newest sapphic book as well that I'm in the middle of, and so we will see if I love that one even more. But yeah, this is incredible, and it has one super specific trope that I really love, which is that both the main characters find themselves in a place, like house, building, estate, whatever, where both of them are saying that like they're the only one who is supposed to be there, but the other one is like, no, I am supposed to be here, and then they have to coexist there together until they find another solution. And so the exact thing that happens here is that the heroine is very lost and in life, and she doesn't quite know what to do, and she randomly finds this ad and buys this flower farm, and she comes there and there's another woman there that's saying that she owns this farm, and like, what the hell is she doing here? And so definitely like some, you know, hate to love, grumpy sunshine, and set at a flower farm. The vibes are incredible. This one also has autistic representation, and the main characters are just absolutely iconic. Like, this was so steamy, so fun. Loved the forced proximity, loved everything about it. I love them so much, and I love this cover, and just, oh my god. So you absolutely need to pick this one up. And also, I don't have that many sapphic romances in this video because I want to do a separate sapphic romance video. So that will be coming super soon, so stay tuned for that, but this one is one you absolutely need to check out. Okay, let's talk about the next one. So the next book is The Roommate Risk by Talia Hibbert, which, you know, I am Talia Hibbert's biggest stan. I love her so much, and she also writes a lot of queer main characters in her books. And her books are just overall absolute masterpieces. And this one is one that I feel like not that many people know. And I feel like also, actually, I don't know, it's had a cover change. I don't know if this is the latest one. No. Okay, I felt like, yes, I knew it. So I'm actually gonna put the newest cover on the screen as well. Because I love that one. So this one is forced proximity, roommates, best friends to lovers, kind of like friends with benefits to lovers. It is not that long, and it's absolutely addicting and fun and incredible. And it's kind of the situation where Jasmine, the heroine, her house gets like flooded or something, and she needs a place to stay, and who better to, you know, help her with that than her best friend. And so I absolutely loved this. Absolutely amazing. Like every single book by Talia Hibbert. It is steamy, it is emotional, it is romantic, it is sweet, it deals with some like mental health themes, and it is just perfection. So if you have not read this one yet, you absolutely need to pick it up. Moving on to the next book, I actually have two fantasy recommendations for you, which, like, who am I? I am slowly but surely getting out of my fantasy slump, and the book that I have to mention for this video is Voidwalker, and I have not heard enough people talk about this. and I need everybody to read it because it's incredible. And honestly, hell, it definitely was a key moment of me desperately wanting to read more romantasy and realizing how much I love it, even though I struggle with like finding it and whatever, but this was amazing. So I don't think there's any label used in this, but the heroine in this one is queer. So we have, it's kind of like a sci-fi fantasy, I feel like. There's portals and all of that, and the main character is a void walker, and she basically travels through these portals and she smuggles things for money. And so she smuggles all kinds of stuff, but not like the worst like criminal kind of things. But she gets a suspicious job where she has to smuggle something that they don't tell her what it is to this like capital city and into this like castle or whatever I should call it. And it ends up being a bomb. And there's basically this kind of people called, oh my god, I forgot. Oh yeah, it's like, I don't know the pronunciation. It's kind of like Degari. I think it's a made up word. These people are carnivores and they basically have to eat people. So this is described as a monster romance, but honestly, I don't like monster romance and I loved this so much. So like if you don't read monster romance, I don't want you to be scared of this book because I thought it was incredible and I loved it so much because it didn't feel too monstery to me. It's just like this part of it that's a little gross. But anyway, so they're obviously super dangerous, scary, like kind of like a vampire vibe, but different. And so, this guy lives in this, castle or whatever, and they smuggle a bomb. And so he obviously catches her and like these two people give her, like the ones that gave her the job, give her to him basically as like, here you go, she's the one that did it, you can kill her. But he basically tells her he won't kill her if she helps him figure out who did all this. And it is obviously enemies to lovers, and they have to work together to figure out this mystery, and then things go on from there. And it is incredible. It is angsty, it is high stakes. But at the same time, it is actually a romance. Like, it does not feel like it's just fantasy with a little bit of romance. Like, it is a solid, incredible romance that I loved every single second of. And so please pick this up. It is incredible. I don't know if I did a great job describing it, but I loved it a lot. And I desperately need to read the other books by this author. She definitely has a cozy sapphic romantasy. So check that out if you want. I haven't read it yet, but I will be reading it super soon, 100%, because I loved every second of this. And since I'm talking about that, I will mention one more, like, kind of bonus book, because it does not entirely meet the requirement. Because this one is not really a romance, but I want to mention it because I had it in my Goodreads shelf, and I was just like, you know what? I have not talked about this book in so long, and I need more people to know about it. And that is called The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwith. And this one is like adult fantasy. I read this 1,000 years ago. I've been desperately wanting to buy the physical copies so I can reread this and finish the whole series. But I really want the US covers and I cannot get them. I've been really struggling to find it. And at this point, I'm like, I've waited so long. I don't want to just give up and get the UK covers, but I need to get over that probably because I want to read this book again. This was literally one of my favorite books of all time. Like, I loved every single second. I thought it was incredible. And so I need you to know about it. So I'll read you what I wrote on here, which is queer found family, morally great characters, amazing friendships, and magical books. And so basically the setup of this is that the main character is a librarian who is tasked to like hunt down all the characters that escaped from these books. And, they're supposedly like super dangerous and all of that. And so it ends up being like a found family story. And there's definitely multiple queer characters. I don't, again, remember the details, unfortunately. But I loved every single one of them. And it was so cool, so magical, so unique. And I feel like so many people are going to love this and not enough people know about it. So please check it out. I will update you on my thoughts in more detail once I reread this book, hopefully soon. The next book I have here is Unromance by Erin Connor. This became an instant favorite of mine. I adored every second of this. So this was Erin Connor's debut and I thought it was a masterpiece. And I don't even know where to begin. So we have a romance author and actor couple, which is like my dream come true. I love that so much. I literally love books about actors and I love books about authors, and the fact that it's both combined is amazing. And that just starts there. Like, the two of them basically both have a few like meet cutes where they just feel a spark and a connection, and the heroine is like, no, I don't want this to be anything, because she's honestly really scared of love because, she's just experienced too much heartbreak and everything. And yeah, and then we have our hero who is a hopeless romantic, and they just decide to team up and do all kinds of like cliche rom-com moments together to for her to get more inspiration for writing, and for him to like not be too delusional about love. And they fall in love in the process. And oh my god, this was the kind of experience where literally on page 1 I was invested. Like, I was immediately like, it gripped me the second I started it, and I did not let go. There was not a single scene or moment that I thought, oh, this is annoying, or like, I don't like this, or this is too boring. I thought this was the perfect romance. Obviously for me specifically, but I need more people to read it. I have not heard anyone talk about it, and it's a masterpiece, and I need you all to read it. It's the perfect balance of like yearning, romantic, steamy, sweet, emotional, and everything I could want in a romance. And I love the main characters, and I just love everything about this. And honestly, I desperately need to reread this one as well. So yeah, please check it out. Oh my god, I'm not even halfway through, so I feel like I need to like speed this up a little bit. So the next book I have here is Truly Madly Deeply by Alexandria Bellafleur, who is another author whose, I feel like all of her books are queer as well. So there's so much to choose from. I've literally read and loved all of her books. And I'm gonna read you the little pitch at the back because I feel like, it sounds good. Which is, sparks fly when a lovelorn romance novelist and a divorce lawyer agree to co-host a podcast series offering dating advice to viewers. And basically, this actually has a similar vibe in the sense that the heroine in this one also feels very lost in love. Her fiance cheated on her, her parents are separating, and so she is feeling very hopeless. And the hero says some things that kind of like piss her off in the podcast, and yeah, so it's kind of like dislike to love, and I absolutely loved the connection between them, and it just is super, super fun. And I feel like all of Alexandria's books are so lighthearted and fun and easy to read, and have wonderful characters that just, I want to root for. And also, I am obsessed with this cover. Like, one of my favorite covers of all time, honestly. The illustration is by Fernanda Suarez, and I love everything about it. And the hero is bisexual, and there's a little flag there. They are super cute, and you definitely need to check this one out. The next one I have here is Thank You for Sharing by Rachel Rania Katz, which is a childhood best friends to enemies to lovers romance. And they find themselves seated next to each other on the same plane, and then they have to work together, and of course they have to collaborate on a super important project as well. And I absolutely loved this. I feel like this was emotional and sweet and meaningful and raw and incredible, and honestly, I desperately need to read other books by this author. I do have another book, and I do own another one, and I will definitely be reading it. I've been wanting to for a while, and this was amazing. And I also feel like not many people know about it, and yeah, on the back it's described as a poignant, sharp, and sexy romance. Definitely pick this one up. Okay, the next one I have here is The Portrait of a Duchess by Scarlett Peckham, and oh my god, this is one of my all-time favorite romances, and like all-time favorite historical romances, and it is incredible. And I'm gonna read you some little things I have on Goodreads because again, I want to speed this up a little bit. So, marriage of convenience, second chance, an independent, rebellious heroine involved in politics, and a bisexual hero who do absolutely anything for her. So swoony, steamy, and sex positive. And then I mentioned refreshingly modern in many ways. And oh my god, I was already obsessed when I first saw this cover. And the book honestly has exactly that vibe. It is just as iconic as it looks, and I loved every single second. Like, it's steamy, it's fun, it's full of yearning. Like, I need people to read more historical romance, because like, if you don't, you are missing out on so much. Like, there is some incredible romances within that subgenre, and this is absolutely one of them. The next one I have here is The Friendship Study by Ruby Barrett, who is one of my absolute faves. So in this one, the two main characters participate in this friendship study, where they have to, look into like what friendship means and all of those things. And the heroine is paired with a guy who recently ghosted her after a blind date that she thought went amazing, but he never texted her back. And so there's obviously some angst, some tension, and I loved this so much. I also am obsessed with this cover, and I think I love Ruby Barrett so much, but I think this is my favorite book by her. I felt like it was just so wonderful. It's steamy. I love the characters, and I feel like I keep using the same words, but it's just because all of these books have some of the same qualities that I absolutely love, you know? And anyway, I felt like this was emotional. Obviously had a lot of meaningful things in terms of like the friendship and what it means and everything. And I loved every second, and you all need to pick this one up because also not many people have done that, and I need more people to read this and Ruby Barrett in general because she is incredible. The next book I have here is Time to Shine by Rachel Reed, which I feel like is one of her lesser known books, or like not anymore that much, but still. And I love and devour all of her books. This one is no different. So this is like a very wintry book, so maybe I shouldn't be recommending it right now, but it was again in like the Goodreads shelves, and I thought it was like I obviously love it, and so I need to recommend it anyway. And I feel like the thing that not enough people say about Rachel Reed is that she writes incredible mental health representation, and that her romances actually feel so deeply emotional, where the main characters feel like they're a little bit broken, and they are desperate to find a home within someone, and they do exactly that. And so it is loving, it is caring, it is beautiful. And I loved every second of this book. Basically, they become roommates, and it's a hockey romance, and I am honestly the biggest roommates trope stan ever, and so obviously I ate this up, and it is just incredible, and you all need to read it right now. The next one I have here is Play to Win by Jodie Slaughter. And this is a second chance romance about estranged spouses who are yet to be divorced, but they have been separated, and the heroine wins the lottery, and she asks the hero to, you know, come to town to like deal with some legal matters. And he is still absolutely in love with her, and things go on from there. A lot of groveling and just, you know, incredible, wonderful vibes. And I loved this. You all need to pick it up. Next book I have here is Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. And oh my god, another author that I adore. And honestly, I would say this is my favorite book by her, but I also desperately need to reread it because I don't feel like I remember enough about it. But anyway, this is Best Friends to Lovers, and I think it's done incredibly well, and the two of them reconstruct a school bus together, and it is absolutely wonderful. And at this point, I cannot even speak anymore. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna read you some nice things again from the back. Phenomenal, adorable, sexy, and romantic, hilarious, gasp-inducing, and warm and sexy and vulnerable. Hannah Bonham Young needs to be on your romance radar. And yes, absolutely she does. And also, yeah, I feel like I just keep saying the same adjectives, so I'm not going to do that again right now, but please pick this one up. It is wonderful. Okay, we're on to the last two books, and I'm honestly losing my mind. I can't even speak anymore. But I need to tell you about these two remaining books, which is The Night of the Wedding by Jay Brosen. This is a romance novella. It's literally like 80 pages, so if you want something short but emotional and wonderful, you need to read this. And honestly, I'm obviously not going to tell you that much about it, but it is sweet, emotional, and sexy, set around a wedding. I absolutely loved it. It was honestly really tender and beautiful, and I wish it was longer. But if you want a quick, short read with amazing characters that feel developed enough to get invested in, definitely check it out. And last but not least, I have to recommend Rake, His Patron, and Their Muse by Nicola Davidson. I love Nicola Davidson, another author that writes a lot of queer books, specifically in historical romance. And this is actually also a novella, and it is polyamorous, and she actually has multiple polyamorous books that are all incredible. I'm actually reading another one right now, and having a great time. So we have a playwright who has like a rakish reputation. Then we have his patron, who is more like shy and a little bit, you know, holds himself back a little bit, and he takes them to a house where, you know, that's managed by a lonely widow longing for love, and three of them get together. I feel like that's a horrible description. It is amazing. Again, like Nicola Davidson often writes shorter books, but the characters feel real and it's super fun and very sex positive, sweet and romantic, and all of the things that I literally keep saying all the time, but you need to read it. I literally need more people to read Nicola Davidson, especially if you want more queer books in historical romance, like I said, and books that just feel like lighthearted and fun. Also, like I forgot to mention this, pretty key information, that honestly, none of these books like deal with any homophobia, any like tragic things at all. Like Nicola Davidson, I think, like I don't want to say that broadly because obviously I haven't read everything, but there's generally no homophobia or anything like that, even though it's in a historical romance space. Usually it's kind of like they have a safe place together, and you know, love that. And obviously if that's something you're looking for, I am very sure that all the books that I mentioned can give you that. Obviously they all have happy endings as well, because that is what a romance is. And so yeah, I will finally shut up. I've been literally talking for 40 minutes. So yeah, but I hope this made sense because I love all these books so much and I need you all to read it, so I hope you got some recommendations out of this. Please let me know if there's any books that I didn't mention that you think other people should read. And if you made it this far in the video, leave a rainbow emoji down below. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I'm gonna see you soon in another video. Bye!